Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show. I am Dana Dubois, and this is my first time hosting one of these through my computer, not through my phone. And I don't know that the invite went out to my special guest host, Melissa. So I'm going to send it to her right now. Look at everybody joining this morning. Hello. It is so good to be back. I'm so happy to see all of you. I'm also feeling aware I might be too close to the camera. I'm trying to adjust this. I'm not used to going live on my computer, but I do think that the quality of the camera looks good. Can you all hear me okay? Welcome back. Yes, welcome. Happy 2026, y'all. This is exciting, and I am gonna check my phone that I'm no longer streaming from, and just make sure that Melissa got the invite. Let's see here. Get the invite. Good. I'm glad you can hear me okay and see me okay. Sorry, I'm starting off the first one of the year a little disoriented, but I was like, no better time than the present to use this new Substack technology to join, not on my phone. But we have a great show today. Lawrence is on a secret mission still, so he will not be returning to the Daily Whatever Show till Thursday. 3 whole days. But here is Melissa now. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm giggling because I'm like, whoa, new technology Monday morning. Haven't done this in over a week, but it is all good. I am so glad that you're here too. All these names popped in the chat. It's very exciting. So Karen is asking, where is Lawrence? Lawrence is on a secret mission in a town called Cincinnati. He will tell you all about it when he gets back, but he won't be here till Thursday. So Melissa is here Monday through Wednesday as my co-host, which I'm so thrilled that you are here. And Lawrence will be back on Thursday. So we have guests, a secret mission. Yes, I'm making it sound very, woo. What could Lawrence be up to? I haven't seen him yet in the chat. I don't know if he's going to be able to join yet. But he will be back on Thursday, rest assured. And also rest assured, we are in excellent hands with Melissa. Melissa, I love your shirt.
Oh, yeah. I got this at Washington, D.C.
There you go. You cut out for a second, but now I hear you again. Can you say again where you got your shirt?
I got it at the O Museum in Washington, D.C., which is one of my favorite places in D.C., hands down. It is a townhome collection. A wealthy woman bought 3 conjoined townhomes, and then she joined them with a series of secret doors and passageways. Ooh. And so you can explore your way through the whole place. You can find all the secret doors. But another cool thing about it is that she's hosted a lot of civil rights leaders over the years. Rosa Parks lived there for 10 years and sort of held court.
What?
Right. And like held court. I know. I had never heard of it until like I saw a TikTok, with some influencer.
Oh my God.
But it's a super cool place. And something I love is that I've gone 3 times now. I'm obsessed with this place because I want to find all the little secret things. So I take like various family members with me to go back and keep finding stuff. But every time I go, they have new t-shirts from new local artists. So I love that.
That sounds magical. Okay. If I ever make it over to the East Coast, I have to admit, I always thought I'd take my kids to Washington, D.C. at some point during their upbringings. We've never been, and not real keen to go right now for obvious reasons, but there's one reason to go. I love it.
It's fantastic.
That is amazing. Also amazing segue. Our guest today is Rachel, also known as This Woman Votes. Super excited to have her joining today. And she will be here shortly. We're just going to intro the show and then we will add her. Rachel, if you are in the chat, can you say hello just so we can see that you're here? And Karen, thank you for complimenting my hair. I'm getting it cut on Wednesday night. and colored. So I'm going to come back Thursday very glamorous, hopefully. Oh. So thank you for saying it looks good. I feel like it's, you can see I am naturally very mousy brown. And I just never thought, oh, there she is. There's Rachel. I was never meant to be mousy brown. That's just, thank goodness for hair dye.
Yes.
Melissa, how was your holiday? Let's just start with the basics. Happy New Year. We chatted a little yesterday and talked about how it's not really a break for moms with bigger families when it's over the holidays, is
No,
it?
no. Yeah, everybody knows that I think if you follow me that I have a big family. We have 6 kids, and now because some of them are adults, they have their partners that have added on, so we have begun the growth pattern of our
Love that.
little empire, but the holidays are super crazy. But something I did this year that I think is okay is
Yeah.
I didn't do everything. Like, I gave myself permission
See.
to not do all of the little traditions and all of the things, um, and that's okay, and nothing, like, fell apart, and Christmas and New Year still happened,
Right.
n and the world didn't end when I didn't do every one of our ridiculous traditions, so that's okay. That's okay.
I feel that hard because we're not religious people. So any of the traditions we have been things that, we've created over time, and by we, often led by me.
Yeah,
Um, and I love those traditions, but yeah, they do involve work. And I worked at my job till Christmas Eve, so there was no break to like
yeah.
get everything set up. But what's one tradition you have to keep that you did keep?
So it sounds really weird, but it's from Depression era from my family when
Hmm.
they would have salmon stew on Christmas Eve, which was an old throwback to like the Irish Catholic roots of
Yeah,
sort of having a feast of fishes, but it during the Depression they couldn't afford all of the seafood in upstate South Carolina, so
sure.
it was salmon in a can and you make
Okay.
stew out of it. And some people that have visited us on Christmas Eve find that very bizarre, but our kids love it. They have come to expect it. I don't know if I were to
Okay.
serve them salmon stew any other day, they would really be excited about it, but they are on Christmas Eve. So we always keep that one.
You should share that recipe because I've never heard of that, and I would be intrigued to taste that.
Yes.
That sounds kind of amazing. Salmon stew. Okay, from a
Yeah.
can.
From a can.
I believe you made that delicious.
I
So,
think it's delicious, but again, it's one of those things that if it were served to me on a random Tuesday in July, I'd be like, I don't think so. No.
right, it's Christmas only. Otherwise, no way.
Right.
Um, do you have any resolutions coming into the new year?
I don't know. Like, I stopped doing resolutions several years ago because I got tired of not fulfilling them. Um, but I think this year, like I did with the holidays, I started pulling away. Like, I don't have to do everything, giving myself permission
Right.
to not do everything. And like I told my family, like so many of them are adults at this point. If something is important to you, you can pick up that tradition. So I guess my
Nice.
word of the year would be delegation. I am learning to delegate.
That's a great one. I love it. And I'm going to add on to that because it seems unlikely for you, but probably what you need. Um, I haven't established like resolutions yet. I'm probably going to set up a few with my kids this week. Um, but I have like I stopped working for a little over a week and got kind of quiet. I'm sure we didn't do the Daily Whatever show either, and didn't really do much writing. Just kind of got a little bit quiet and waited to see what would come forward. And to my shock, it wasn't. I thought it was going to be like creativity, power, all these words, but it was rigor
Mhm.
and how I'm like 2026 isn't going to work the way I want it to unless I do something that doesn't come naturally to me, or at least I don't enjoy it,
Right.
which is like rigor in routine. And there's no other way to do all the things I want to do and not fall apart. So by
Right.
the end of the year, I was hitting pretty close to like I am falling apart. It felt really good to get back on my natural timetable for sleep. My aura ring was like, Dana, you are the most resilient I've ever seen you.
You're doing so good.
You're doing so good. I'm like, yeah, because I'm back on my like midnight or 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. sleep schedule that I naturally fall into whenever this break. But I was like, it's all prep for the rigor that needs to come
Right.
because there's a lot of fight that we've got to do this year.
A lot.
So yeah, rigor. I may be exploring that theme a bit on this show. So hopefully you all are good with that. And I think this is going to be a great question to put forth to our guest. Should we
I
bring
think
Rachel
so.
up? Oh
I
my
think we
gosh.
should. I'm
All right.
excited.
So you all can probably tell we are, maybe you can't, we're not in StreamYard today. Lawrence has the StreamYard license. I do not. So the Daily Whatever Show logo isn't in the corner. So I'm learning all the tools here again. We are inviting Rachel the old school Substack way, she's not in our green room waiting to come on, but there she is. Good
I think
morning,
I did it
Rachel.
right. Hold on. I'm like, what do I have to mute? What do I have to turn off? I don't want to open some space-time warp hole with multiple speakers and microphones.
A space-time wormhole. Oh my God, I love it. Good morning, Rachel.
Good
It's
morning.
so great to see you. Thank you for coming on the first Daily Whatever Show for
I'm so
2026.
excited.
No pressure, but you're setting the tone for the entire year.
No pressure.
I got
I'm
you.
just
I got
kidding.
you.
Now,
I'm ready to raise hell.
that I have no doubt of that at all. Rachel, have you met Melissa before? I feel like I need to be like
We
a
have
pilot.
not talked. I've been reading her work since I started Substack.
Oh, thank you. And I'm so, so, so glad to meet you. This is so exciting.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm psyched. When just like the end of the year when you guys were talking, I have a big family too, and sort of the traditions and everything else. This year we went a little wild with traditions, just
Oh,
because my son's partner, it was his first Christmas not with family.
oh,
So I'm like, I'm gonna buy a Lithuanian cookbook. I'm gonna make all the Lithuanian stuff.
I
We're
love that.
making, cheplenai, and I'm gonna learn the words. And like, I am as extra as one human can be most of the time.
I
And
love
oh my
it.
so
God.
we spent the entire day cooking, and then after dinner, they have these traditional fried cookies, and so they rolled out the entire dining table was rolled out in dough, and we fried cookies after dinner, and just it was
God, that sounds
a production
amazing.
line.
That
We had
does
an
sound
absolute
amazing.
blast, and it was great. And then I spent the rest of the week in almost near silence, just
Please don't
vegetating.
talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Let's let's start with the basics too of Rachel, this is your second appearance on the Daily Whatever
Yep.
Show. And when I knew Melissa was going to be co-hosting this week, I was like, who would be the right person? Who does Melissa need to meet? Who needs to meet Melissa? And
Yes.
you were like top of the
Thank
list. So
you.
I'm so glad
Thank
you
you.
said yes.
I appreciate it.
I think a lot of folks in our audience already know you, but I would love to have you introduce kind of who you are and maybe with it, set your intentions for 2026.
So, my name is Rachel Marin. I write under This Woman Votes. It's mostly political progress, philosophy. I get into sort of a lot of deep dives on, I live in rabbit holes. You're Gen X, you probably read Watership Down.
Oh
My
my
brain isn't
gosh.
just a rabbit hole. It is a rabbit warren. And so if there's something that I can turn into a 13-part series, sign me up. I'm in. So
Oh my gosh.
I also have a very sort of dry academic business account under trustable.blog, which is me ranting about technology and AI and that sort of stuff. Not so much ranting. I mean, it is very detailed and nerdy. And this really this one votes becomes sort of this application of all of the stuff I do for work.
Yeah.
Kind of moves over to this is good for humanity. So
Beautiful.
that's kind of my focus. And going into this year, my focus is definitely at the intersections of white supremacy, capital extraction, and technology, because it all it is the trifecta that we are living under. It is why we suffer in so many different ways. And as three white women on a call, I am telling you that we are suffering from white supremacy.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
I've got a piece coming out this week about the deep dive into healthcare. We do not have universal healthcare today because of white supremacy in the 1920s. And we suffer today because of that. And every single thing I am going to be talking about in the most insufferable fashion is going to be an examination of how white people suffer under white supremacy, and how the only way to break it down is from the inside by white people. If
Right.
Black people could have solved it, they'd have solved it a long time ago.
I love it.
So I'm
And
going scorched earth in 2026.
oh my gosh, I
I
love it.
love that.
And so here's one of my rigor moments of
Yep.
like things that I can do to make my time even more efficient. But as I get ready to get on the Daily Whatever show, I revisit the articles that I want to talk to our guests about by playing the audio as I'm getting ready. Right.
Oh, okay, great.
Multitasking. And I definitely want to dive into here, I'm going to put the link in here, the Working Our Way Out of White Supremacy one about your reading,
the
watching,
ladder.
listening ladder. Yeah.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat right now. I know you have a brand new article out today. I went to click it's very long and very detailed. And so I was like, went to press play and it's like, oh, we're still working on the audio.
This is a 30-minute listen.
No, Substack like literally was like, we're still processing it. I'm like, but it went live at 4:30 in the morning. You're not done yet? Substack. So that's how dense it is that Substack's done with the audio. So I'm not as prepared to talk about it, but we are still going to go in.
That's
okay. I thought, well, it went, 4:30 in the morning. You're on my time zone. So,
so for me, showing up on these calls for you guys with you guys is very much less about whatever I've got going on and just sort of talking about what's happening today. At any given time, I have somewhere between 7 to 10 essays in progress, and I'm researching and reading and picking and whatever and synthesizing information. And so, what I have coming up is, just that whole deep dive, but sort of the stuff that I've been writing about is really just about just capital extraction and what we're doing to humanity, and how what we write about affects people, and also this idea that there is this sort of feminine lens that we're viewing through. There is the neurodivergent lens that everything filters through in my brain. So there's all these intersections. And what I really want to talk about is sort of the need for us to better understand intersectionality. And that's why I always tell people, if you do nothing else on that reading ladder, if you look at nothing else, and part of the reason that I put together reading, listening, and video is that I want to make it accessible, right? I read 323 books last year. So my expectation is that you guys don't have the time to read 323 books last year. So I included video, I included podcasts, I included free papers, library links, try to make it as accessible as possible. Reduce the barrier to entry. Read, listen. I don't care how you consume information.
Right.
Consume it, contemplate it, think about it. But the Kimberly Crenshaw piece on intersectionality should change how people think about intersectionality, because it's not just I'm white, I'm female, I'm neurodivergent, I'm, there are just so many different intersections. And in legal context, all of that gets sort of broken down into you get to be one thing legally. And whatever the legal context is that's where you're at. And so I want to break all of that down. All of that is going to be especially the first quarter, especially coming in to February. And then anybody who wants to participate, anybody who even if you've never written a thing before, if you want to do art, if you want to think about it as a book report, because a lot of stuff I sort of think about is like a book report in my brain. But
I know.
all of those things.
I want to slow you down for one moment and just have you say to our audience, because I've read the article and listened to it. What is it that you're doing in January? Like, start at the highest level of what is this ladder?
So read. It's just an act of contemplation. Read, consume some information. Whether it's you're going to read one of the books, think about it, sit with it. Some of it's going to make you very uncomfortable, especially if you're sort of sitting in kind of middle America, white female, right?
Yes.
There are a lot of things,
right?
Right. That is the audience. My original intent was to say, there are a lot of ways that we can look at white supremacy, and none of it has served us well. We are, and a lot of the stuff that's going to be coming out this month is how it has harmed white people. I talk a lot about sort of the harm to women that the war on trans people causes.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Women are harmed by how we treat trans people. White women are harmed by white supremacy. Men are harmed by the patriarchy. All of these frameworks, all of these hierarchies are harmful to the people that they supposedly position in power. And so that's the entire thing. Read a book, listen to a podcast. My son read Bell Hooks' Feminism is for Everyone. He read it about 6 weeks ago, and that it began this sort of idea for me. And he called me up and he hurt my feelings. He said, "This is not the feminism I have ever seen." And I was like, "But I've literally been a feminist my whole life." Like, what are you talking about? He's like, "No, this is like calm and beautiful, and I've only ever seen embattled and fighting and fucking furious. I've never seen this feminism." So
Interesting.
That is interesting.
And it genuinely, he's 28. Well, it just turned 29. But he was also a little kind of low key peeved that I hadn't given it to him like in his teens. I'm like, come on, bro. Would you really have read it? Like, be so for real right now. Like, you would not have read that book had I given it to you. But also, like, it definitely hit me in the feelings. I was like, what do you mean you've never seen feminism? Not that flavor of feminism. So it was a really interesting sort of thinking, and we had a great conversation about all of it. And now he's started reading The Will to Change, which is another brilliant book that all men should read. It is a phenomenally great book. So that was kind of what took me into this rabbit hole. Part of it.
I love it.
That's kind of great, though. Isn't it great when your older kids, adult kids sort of challenge you? I mean, that's so great because to me, as a mom of adult kids, it's like, fuck, I did some stuff right. Okay. If they're at this point where they can push back, where they can challenge, that's exactly where I want them to be. Even if, it does hurt our feelings in the moment. Yeah. And we can be like, what? Like, my kids have said to me, so my son is trans. He was assaulted badly at his school his freshman year, and we ended up taking it all the way to the Department of Justice, and there were some news articles that made it, that really went kind of crazy, especially in LGBT publications.
Yep.
So he looked up his name, or a friend of his Googled his name and came up in an article in a San Francisco paper, and he didn't even know about it. It was,
Right.
and my kids have said you have to like look at things from our perspective, and having you as a mom, sometimes it can be a lot. Like,
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah. I have heard that from my children. I totally get it. Yeah.
yes, yes. But as they get older and now that they're adults, they're like, I understand, especially with the environment we're in now, you are arming us. You are getting us ready
Yeah.
because look at where we are now. We need to
Yeah.
be strong and tough.
Yep. Yeah. I have only one of my sons. His wife was pregnant and she got into a car accident, and he
no.
called me up after she's settled in, and he says, I just want to say thank you for raising me the way you did. I could have lost my shit in the middle of this moment, but I was prepared. I was calm. I knew what to do. And I wanted to thank you. Now, mind you, I raised 7. Only one has ever thanked me for their upbringing. The rest of them are like, Jesus, mom, not again. Not everything is a life lesson. But
Oh my God.
Yes.
1 for 7 is fine. I don't need to be thanked.
Right. Right.
I'm just still thinking of 7, and you're 6, Melissa, your combined family.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm at 2, and I'm like, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It's most of the time about 6 too many.
I know.
Yeah. I feel
Especially
like
when they were
maybe
young.
maybe you can agree with this, but I feel like there comes a point, particularly when you're in the thick of adolescence with all of them, that
Oh
you just
God.
have this moment where you're like, I have to be so all in, like fuck ever trying to be normal. Like we're never
Yeah.
going to be normal. We're never going to be a
Yeah.
normal family. Fuck it. We're all in. We're all
Yeah.
in.
We're doing it.
Yeah.
My youngest was born when our oldest was 11. So at 28, I had 7 kids under the age of 12. And
Oh my
I
gosh.
I don't remember an entire decade of my life. Like from 95 to 2005, when the first 3 had graduated, I have like no memory. I, I, I there's pictures. I'm like, oh shit, I don't remember that at all. Like,
Yeah.
raising kids, and I always said, and my upbringing was fraught, and feral, like unparented. And so when I became a parent, I had this thought that I just want to raise good decision makers. I mean, that was just, I didn't focus on being polite. I didn't focus on obedience. I wanted you to question things and be a good decision maker.
Yeah.
And that was brilliant when the kids were small. But as soon as they had opinions and driver's licenses and were pushing back and were no longer accepting, just do
Yes.
it because I goddamn said so. They're like, but why?
Yeah.
Right. That's
Yeah.
so
The flip side
interesting.
of raising free thinkers is they're
Oh
going to
my
start
God.
free thinking.
Yeah, Lawrence and I talk
Between like
about
15 and 20, that was a mistake.
right.
Now that they're grown, brilliant.
Oh, good to know, because mine are 15 and almost 18. So, it's so interesting. Lawrence and I talk a lot about how Gen X is here to heal generational trauma. Gen X on down.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And in parenting, I think that's what that means, especially for me parenting daughters.
Yeah.
When my mom comes out to visit, I definitely get feedback of like, you're being too permissive with them, and
Yeah.
they're like, and when they were smaller, like I had to have a talk with her about not saying things like that in front of my kids. And I'm like, that's undermining me. Even if you
Yeah.
think I'm not disciplined, I am, but I'm raising girls, and I know how I came into young adulthood, and it was, pretty inert. in terms of being able to challenge anything. And it's taken me many years to become the feminist killjoy that I am as a result.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want mine coming out the gate like that. And you know
Yeah.
why? Because, look at this moment we're in political time. Like, we need it. But
Yeah.
it definitely is sometimes where you're like, oh, God, why did I raise you like that? When you're the one getting,
it's
we're the first ones
exhausting.
they challenge, right? Like that's how they learn.
There was a comedian that used to do this bit on having smart kids is exhausting.
Yeah.
Yes. But on the other side of things, what comes out of that as adults? You know, if you kind of look at parenting as your job to produce people that are going to contribute some goodness to this planet, that's my job. That was what I thought. My mother should never have been a mother. Like she was an incredibly complicated woman. And I think I sent you that note on Christmas Eve because my mom's birthday is Christmas Eve and she's 80. And so I wrote that post about my mom. She has Alzheimer's and sort of watching her lose everything and kind of watching her become this like weirdly affectionate, connected person really briefly once like the Alzheimer's took. There was like this period where she was lucid, where she was kind of the loving mom I wanted.
Oh my gosh.
That I had never met. And then
so you're blowing my mind of like, wait, you sent it to me and you said, read this after Christmas. And I was like, okay. And then I went squirrel. And I'm just now remembering I have this to go back and read.
I didn't want you to read it the day before Christmas because it might have fucked you up a little bit. Because I know you've got a complicated relationship with your dad, and your dad is
the same thing. Where this soul of a person has become this wounded little boy that he always was.
Yeah. But now all of a sudden
peels back all of the bravado and all of the defense mechanisms to protect the sad little boy and has just left the sad little boy. And
and all you see is the wound, right?
Yes. I see other folks in the chat weighing in with this. I think this is a phenomenon that's not talked about that much, but we've both written about now of like the gift of dementia, which is a weird thing to say because it's a cruel bit. But for those of us who like never got to reconcile with our parents, like I feel like every time I go to see him, I learn something new about that, about like forgiving him and understanding him more. Wow, this is not what I thought we would talk about today, but
sorry.
No, it's so good. It's something else that we have in common. And another thing we have in common that as you're talking, I'm nodding along is like, I talked about rigor is my word of the year, like my theme coming into this year.
Yep.
My writing is going to become a lot more feminist driven, and podcasting as well. That's like a really, like I ended 2025 terrified at some of the language that I'm seeing about feminism. And this isn't even digging into like intersectionality and these deep conversations that are so important that I'm so glad you're driving, but just the like highest level pop culture world, like the zeitgeist that we're in right now is asking questions about like, is feminism harming women? Is feminism destroying the workplace? And I'm not seeing counterpoints to that.
Right.
It's just that those are the what are they calling it? The Charlie Kirk discourse, right? The like, oh, he's just opening open conversation. And it's like, that is not opening a conversation if that's the starting point ever. Like I won't enter a room where that's the conversation. So how to, one of my goals, if I look back at the, in 11 and a half months of like, did I succeed in 2026 is going to be like, how much did I help drive that conversation forward in my small way to change it? For me, for us, for our kids coming up, like you can't enter a conversation where the starting point is negating your humanity, which is what that is to me, and I think to all of us here. So we're all going to be feminist killjoys. Yeah.
Yeah, the goalpost has been moved so far to the right. I know Lawrence talks a lot about the Overton window
Overton
has
window.
flown to the
Yeah.
right. And a big part of that is because left leaning creators, or what I am starting to just call, intelligent or common sense creators, are not flooding the zone. And the right has been flooding the zone for 40 fucking years. And I
Yep.
Right.
can't grasp why more liberal leaning content creators and media outlets don't grasp what's happening right now. I think there's been
Right.
so much on the left that we feel like we have to have the perfect polished PC message
Right.
before we
Right.
air. It has to go through 8 levels of approval, and everybody has to and in that we are losing the momentum and we're losing the message. We need to go out and flood the zone, and we need to be unabashedly liberal. We don't need to find
Yeah.
moderate
Yeah.
centric space. We don't need to
No.
platform. We don't need to platform right-leaning
Yes.
voices. Who said we had to do that? That's so fucking bonkers. When
I
NPR started doing that, I really started getting frustrated. Like
Yep.
when
Right.
I turn on the morning news and there's a gosh, his name is escaping me, but very, very far right professor at Notre Dame. And I was like, why is he on NPR? What are we doing? Why are we
Right.
giving
Yeah.
him a platform? Nobody said you had to give him a platform.
And the first thing they defund is NPR.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and you still want to platform these people?
Right.
Right.
Like
I
I
think there's that
believe there needs to be diversity of ideas and thinking, right? And I know what I would consider conservative writers, not MAGA, right?
Yeah.
And there are people that I listen to, there are people that I read. I read and seek out diversity of ideas and diversity of thinking. But that doesn't mean that I platform those ideas if I don't disagree, if I don't agree with them. And it doesn't mean that, I look at something and think, wait, is this directly opposed to what I believe? If it's directly opposed to what I believe, is what I believe right or wrong with how I frame my own epistemic ideas, right?
Right.
How do I approach it from an epistemics perspective? That's important. We have to dissect, because when you talk about flooding the zone, I put out a series, I don't know, August, September, about sort of the epistemic war. We are in an epistemic war. We are in a war of knowledge and information. This is literal 5th gen warfare, right? But nobody really thinks of it from that perspective. And I know I sound like a wingnut when I talk about it, but there is a 4-step process that says you have saturation, enclosure, capture, and
Yep.
then selective violence, right? This is what we call SEXEV, right? Which is saturation is like when Steve Bannon talks about flooding the zone, he's talking about saturation, right?
Yes.
Enclosure means that you start to control the narrative and the idea. Capture means that it starts filtering into like your school board meeting and your city council meeting. And all of a sudden, your city council is talking about a meme or something that kind of filtered into some new policy, right?
Yeah.
The entire Project 2025 over the course of the last 50 years has been the entirety of this narrative.
Yeah.
And so when you start looking at it, you can start clocking this. And I have an OSINT tool that I use that does a SEXEV identification, right? When I start hearing a pattern, like a couple of months ago, I started hearing Katie Porter being called Snippy. And I heard it on 2 different social platforms. When everyone is using the same word,
Yes.
Right.
right?
Mhm.
All of a sudden I'm like, that's weird. And then I put it into my OSINT tool. It's a literal 47-page guardrailed document that I use to control a particular type of AI that will go out and search the entire internet, the entire social sphere, and
Oh,
the
wow.
dark web. And it looks at it and it pulls all of the different references. And then it gives you a score that says, yeah, this is saturation. This is enclosure. This is capture. This is what the selective violence looks like. And it is so easy to see once you've recognized the pattern. You fucking see it everywhere. And then you start to think, am I the
Yes.
crazy one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Like those of
Right.
us that are not neurotypical, I think have been at this for a very long time because when
Yes.
Trump started running the first time, I was still in the evangelical Christian church. And I started in normal conversations, these words started appearing that had not
Right.
been in any
Right.
conversations before. And I was that nerd that was like, why are you using that
Right.
word? Where did you hear that word? Can
Right.
you tell me where you heard this information? Because you've never used that word before. Why have you never chosen that word before? This is very important. And my friends got
Yes.
really irritated with me because I wanted to dissect, where did you get this message? Because this is a
Yep.
harmful message and it also does not align with our Christian faith. So I think we deserve a little more investigation into where you're
Yep.
getting this idea. If it did not come from the Bible, where did it come from? And why are you now repeating it ad nauseum?
Right. And when it hit the pulpit, that was capture, right?
Yes.
It went
Yes.
from saturation through
Right.
enclosure, controlling the narrative, to the pulpit. And when it hit the pulpit,
Yes.
it was captured. And at that point, you start seeing selective violence in your congregation.
Exactly. Right.
It
People
doesn't
being
just happen in
excluded.
government. People being
Mhm.
excluded, people being othered, people that are like, even if you went to a relatively progressive church, and my relationship with religion is also fraught, but
Mhm.
you know even that's what you see. You sort of, and for me, I am highly pattern oriented, and I'm also, the downside of pattern orientation is pareidolia, right? Where you see patterns that don't exist. So I'm constantly interrogating patterns. Is this a real
Yes.
pattern? And am I looking at disparate data that isn't connected but seeing connections? Because there's
Yes.
there's pattern recognition, and then there's out in the shed with the red string, a la Beautiful
Right. Right.
Minds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
we're not. So that's part of the reason that I'm constantly interrogating. Am I seeing the pattern? Is this a real
Right.
pattern? And can someone else validate this pattern for me? Which is why I use an
My
AMI for that.
husband is my tool for that because my husband
Yeah.
will tell me real quick, no, no, I think you're going a bit too far there. Can you show me the logical link between this and this?
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you can't, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, having a normie Sherpa is
Yeah.
kind of necessary.
A normie Sherpa. That feels like a band name, Normie
No,
Sherpa, but
the
it
normie
conveys
Sherpas. Yeah.
so much in so few words. I'm with you all. Like, language matters
Yep.
far more than people acknowledge. And we talk a lot about AI and having a healthy skepticism around AI, but this is actually a perfect use for AI because a human cannot parse. Like,
Right.
we can get our vibe of, like, I'm seeing this a lot.
Yep.
Like in the chat, Yanni was like, woke is a great example where they took a word that
Yes.
means
Brilliant
something
example.
positive,
Yep.
literally to be awake. It became slang to convey, like, I am awake and paying attention to social justice issues. And like
Right.
that, the other side of the political aisle was able to make it a pejorative, and we picked it up, right? Like, we took what they served our way, and woke will now
Right.
do it a little ironically. Oh, it's so
Right.
woke. I'm like, no, woke is good. The
Yeah.
word,
The
liberal,
truly amazing part of that to me
yeah,
is that they convinced this entire group of people that being asleep is positive. That's the
Right.
yeah,
wild part to me because the
it,
Well,
opposite of that is that you're sleepwalking your way through life. How did you
right,
convince all those people that's a positive thing?
and
yes,
also, let's not forget, they also made Jesus woke,
Yes.
right? Because that happened. Like,
right.
all of us.
They never draw that conclusion, but yes, we can see the contradiction there, and
Yeah.
that's, yeah,
I dropped a link
but
into the chat of
yeah,
the basically, this was my thing on matriarchy and feminism.
yeah.
I thought you might be interested in reading that one. It is a long
I'm,
series, and I mean a 13-part long
I love
series.
that.
It was the
you said that's your
entire
jam.
summer. It is my jam, but I went through a writer's block period this summer.
Yeah,
that was so like physically, emotionally, mentally painful. I went through 45 days where I couldn't compose a text message.
Oh, geez.
Like I was like, I have nothing to say. Where's my voice? What is happening? And I started reading, and this series is actually the result of me, all of the reading that I did this summer, around, and I mean, deep dive into a lot of the feminism reading, um, Black feminist reading, as well as like Ursula Le Guin and some of the just, and I don't read a lot of fiction, but that was a big chunk of it, was the ideas of care and holding, and you know we use in my job, we use thermodynamics as sort of a Trojan horse, right? I work with I work with tech bros that can't, won't, or don't acknowledge the existence of human emotions.
Oh my gosh.
So we use thermodynamics as sort of a Trojan horse. By the time you get to level, the third or fourth level of training that we produce, then we hit you with the emotions. But we've already gotten past your barriers. We're already on the inside before we start talking about, hey, I hate to break it to you, but even you feel emotion.
Mhm.
And let's talk about what you're processing there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the idea of like thermodynamics and this isn't even our sort of invention. There are like social scientists that have started to put together what they call thermodynamics 2.0, which is this idea that physics and the ideas of entropy and equilibrium and the things that go with thermodynamics apply to human behavior as well. I watched a great video this weekend on sort of the fluid dynamics of mosh pits. Um, I
I love
because it was really, really an interesting video, because humans act like fluid in crowd environments, and
Yeah.
so it was just a really fascinating idea. As someone who enjoys a mosh pit,
Yeah.
not anymore. My knees are bad,
Yeah.
but like when I was younger, and I
Right.
wasn't using writing to work out my rage issues.
I did the same, and now we're the older emos, and at our local
Yep.
venue, there's a VIP spot that's a balcony,
Oh
and now we
yeah,
can watch the fluid motions of the mosh pit and the younger people
yeah,
doing their thing and taking out their rage, and that's super fun for us from a
yeah.
Boy.
distance.
From a distance, in
Yeah.
a seated position.
Yes.
I wanna read one comment from the chat before it flies by me from Elizabeth. She asks, "Dana, can we please mention the protest to save Oak Flat from mining? They're lighting sacred fires, in my case, a candle, at 11 a.m. Is that Pacific time or Easter? If otherwise, it's in 10 minutes, but per Bishop Barber Moral Moments. I just did a quick search on that, but I wasn't aware of this, but that does sound like something worth putting out there. Yeah,
Oh.
let's save the sacred land. Sorry, I just wanted. Sorry, I realized that
No,
was a
that's
tangent,
great.
but I saw
Yep.
that and was like, I would like to put that out there in 10 minutes. Go light a candle.
Flat. Yes.
Yeah, there's so. Do you guys? I know you all feel this, that there are just so many things to care about.
Right.
I think
Dizzying at this point.
that's part of the problem, and it's part of the purpose.
Yeah.
It's intentional, right? I put out a
Yeah.
piece in early December. They just released Gen AI to the entire military, and I work in AI. I've been working in machine learning since 2013. Um, I It would take me years of training and planning and guardrailing and customizing to roll anything out to an American military as broad as ours.
Right.
Mhm.
And the fact that they just said, fuck it, let's put it on every desktop.
Yep.
Like, when you understand what happens to the human mind cognitively when you are under pressure and you have an officer standing at your shoulder and you're an intelligence analyst trying to bang through stuff, and the pressure is so incredibly high and the risk is so incredibly high, and yet we've taken a tool that is tuned to emotional resonance, not
Mhm.
epistemic authority, and we've just rolled it out to the entire American military. Like, if that AI tells you the sky is blue, look out a fucking window.
Yes.
Because I
and this
do
is
not put. Go ahead.
this is a military that's also been completely propagandized for 20 years with Fox News on every 22 years now. I remember the year that all the screens. I was active
Yep.
duty when all the screens flipped over to Fox News from ESPN and BET and MTV, all Fox News everywhere you went. And now it's been 22 years solid. And now you're going to put those kids in an environment with AI that's only going to further,
Yeah.
confirm this bias.
It is and I'm even less worried about the bias and more worried about the fact that when the person sitting in front of the terminal producing a report out of AI looks at it and says, that sounds plausible because it's emotionally resonant. When
Right.
you're stressed and freaked out and someone comes to you confidently with information, hell yes, we're
Yeah.
moving forward with that. If you don't, like, I fact check my fact checking if I have
Yes.
received information out of AI. Like, when I tell you, like, AI is good at certain things, data aggregation being one of them. It's one of the primary things that I use it for. Um, like, you have to fact check, fact check, fact check. And when I am not exaggerating when I tell you that it is so dangerous to put this in the hands. And the thing is because of the flood of all of the news that's coming out, because of the flood of the Epstein stuff, the debacle in Venezuela, like, all of these things, like the Gen AI rollout, which in the world of, for the most part, I'm like, you don't really have to be that afraid of AI. This is AI you should be afraid of. And not AI that you should, like, the enlisted person that's sitting there in front of the terminal should be afraid of this because they will be the ones held accountable when
Yeah.
that information is propagated. Shit rolls downhill
Yep.
and they are going to suffer. It's not going to be a general held accountable. It's not going to be Google Gemini held accountable. It's
No.
going to be the kid sitting at the computer.
Yep.
And so I'm just like, it is too easy to take the expedient way out. And our human brains are tuned for expediency. We take the easy way out, the path of least resistance every goddamn time. And people are going to suffer. And I'm not talking about, like, power. Power never suffers and they never will. They're going to perpetrate their human
Right.
trafficking. They are going to colonize other countries, and then we're all just going to sit here and listen to white men who will never ever be impacted by any of this pontificate on all of it.
I'm drawing a weird thread here, and I'm gonna just talk off the top of my head.
Go for
Dangerous.
it. Stream of
About
consciousness. Go.
well, uh, this is going back to my theme of rigor and
Yep.
the general feeling of overwhelm that I personally was coming into the end of 2025 with, especially when facing everything I want to accomplish in 2026 by, maintaining my day job and growing the podcasting and writing presence over here and parenting and, all the things. And I got to thinking about how I've been experimenting with AI. Of course, I use it at work, whether I want to or not. I use it.
Yep.
I've done some interesting experiments with Gen AI on my own that I will probably write about. And if there's one thing about AI that's true, it's the professional and personal expectation that we can all do more. We can optimize because
Yeah.
it aggregates for us. It thinks for us. It's the idea of it that that's kind of out there in the workspace is like, be more productive, be more efficient.
Yeah.
And what's coming back to me is this very human sense that I have felt a long time of humans weren't actually meant to divide our attention.
Right. Yeah.
My first career was in speech.
Multitasking is bullshit.
It is. And
It
our attention actually is limited. And I have many thoughts on this. The iPhone came to be in late 20 or in 2007. I became a mom in very early 2008. And so I have a very hard time differentiating the cognitive overload of being a parent while doing all of these things and this thing that appeared in my hand, and suddenly I had an ambient awareness of what 1,500 of my favorite friends were thinking, doing at every moment across multiple apps, but all the news sources were doing, all of this, all of that. And at the same time coming into work, and all of the IM apps that started popping up that were like, you had email back then, but then suddenly people could instantly get in touch with you. That has only multiplied. We're expected to stay in touch through multiple devices on multiple things. And now we're layering in AI that's supposed to be like making us all more efficient. And I don't know that there's anything profound in this other than a personal learning of like, at the end of the day, the human brain can only take so much at one time. And you're right.
Yes.
When an AI tool is coming in and it feels human and it's telling you an answer, like we can't possibly keep and maintain expertise on all these things. Part of the reason that it's coming to me is the chat is filling us in on all the news that's happened since the last show. And Epstein's popping in and Grok creating child porn and I don't know, so many things.
It's so much.
It's such
fire
a great
being lit at
example.
11. And at the end of the day, how can we stay human? I have had multiple people be like, you definitely have ADHD, Dana. And I'm like, I've never been diagnosed. I've never thought that before in my life till now. I am menopausal now, so that contributes to it. But I have this working theory that we all are showing elements of it because none of us were meant to divide our attention this much. And people who are neurodivergent have known that their whole lives, or once they got a diagnosis that they have to compensate and do it. But the pace at which we humans are expected to maintain expertise is staggering. And I would say that if this current administration has a sort of a content strategy around news, it's just flood.
Yeah.
And AI is also flooding us. And I'm thinking now of that poor 19-year-old kid who enlisted, who doesn't have higher education, whose brain isn't fully formed, who's sitting in front of a terminal being asked to make decisions. And here comes this AI agent and is like, let me help you. And it can help. Speaking of an AI agent run amok.
Most confident way. I when I was on, I did Palantir or Palantalk with Nick and Shane a couple weeks ago, or the week before Christmas. And one of the things we talk about is, and I talk about this a lot, your AI over time is tuned to you. It is tuned to what you find resonant. Right. And so based on your priors, things that you've put in over time, it tunes to you. So I use this prompt where we all put in the same prompt, exactly same prompt, exactly same model, but we get 3 different answers. And the reason we get 3 different answers is because it is telling you what you want to hear.
1,000%.
And so if you do not interrogate it, if you do not have a model that is built for adversarial approach to data, you are not getting really solid information. If that AI is not built to be adversarial, which is mostly what I've done with mine, I
have a title for one of my many unwritten stories, and that's called like basically like I'm doming my AI agent, because I start off writing like how I write, like, hi, can you please help me with this? And I'm now like, shut up, you're hallucinating, knock that shit off, like quit being such a insert swear word. And and it actually has helped that I'm like, I've been like, stop using bullets, stop blowing smoke up my ass.
Yep.
Look around corners for me or you're useless. And it's like, You're correct.
Right.
I will only be blunt now, but forget. You have to remind it that's been the most confounding thing to me about AI is that what feels the most human-like about it is that it forgets if you stop using it. You have to use it every day.
And
I know it's a data
it will
dump, but it makes me
apologize.
feel like, yes.
Right?
Yes.
It apologizes because that's how it's tuned. The prediction model says this person expects an apology from me because I screwed up. Right? So it
Yes.
produces an apology. In the same way that Grok apologized for producing a bikini photo of a first communion picture.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
ugh, so gross. It's so gross.
Like, first of all, Grok is a danger to humanity because its founder is so morally bankrupt and ethically bankrupt, right? That's a danger for sure. Like, and as someone who's in this business, if a client comes to me and says, "Well, we're using Grok," I'm not working with Grok. I literally will not work with it. I will turn down money, real billable hours, because I will not work with that shit. And that's what people need to start doing is they need to stop working with companies that don't have moral frameworks in place, but also understand that as a consumer of this product, you should have your own moral framework and your own ethical framework built out and then loaded into your GPT. If you're using GPT or you're using Claude or Gemini, whatever the hell it is, they all have the ability to assign a project file. So you put all of your ethics into that project file, load it up, and it will align with those ethics every time it does a lookup. And that's what you need to ensure that you're doing. That helps at least control and make sure that it's aligned with what you believe and not following its own, in the case of ChatGPT and OpenAI, mostly garbage ethics. At least Claude has better guardrails, kind of ish.
I would love to do like a master class with you of like, one-on-one.
I'm available for free for Zoom anytime you want.
Oh my God.
$12,000.
We're going to talk about this in 2026 because early, because I think everyone needs these lessons and
we do.
Learning as I'm going.
The thing about what you were talking about with your cell phone, AI has become as ubiquitous as cell phone exponentially faster. You know, it took, I got my first cell phone in 1995. I was an availability manager, so I had a SkyTel pager, and then I had the beloved BlackBerry when it was just email.
Yes.
You know, but the ubiquity scale, right? The curve of ubiquity, where a bunch of nerds have it and then everybody has it. AI went from nerds have it to everyone has access to it in the span of 18 months.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And the expectation at work, because I work in tech, it is, it's a bunch of yes, it is.
And if you reject using it, everybody's like, oh, you're out because you're an old thinker. You can't adapt. You're too old for this.
That's something that Lawrence and I are fighting of you can use it and learn to understand it and also challenge it. That's where.
And absolutely we should be challenging it.
Yes.
Absolutely. I hate to do this, but I need to run.
We got to go.
I'm definitely bringing you back. We didn't even get to it.
Anytime you want, I'm down.
Oh my gosh. But please, everyone follow Rachel. I am going to go here and it's going to once again start playing the audio if I don't click out quick. But here is a link. Please go subscribe and follow Rachel. I think you are one of the keenest minds and just most interesting minds we have here on Substack.
I appreciate it.
I have to put my thinking hat on before I read anything of yours, or I'm like, okay, this is going to be good.
I'm trying to do better this year. My goal is to make things more legible this year.
No, please don't change. We need your brain, full stop, on all of these things. Programming note for the Daily Whatever show. I'm going to go ahead and just tell Substack to send this live So for a short while, there may not be stories associated with our lives, but I just want them to go like quickly. We're working on that. We have a plan. Karen, I'm going to be reaching out to you about that. But I just want you all to know that it's not that we're not thinking about it. I wish I had time to write this whole story, but I think it's more important to get the stories out quickly. So this will be up and posted very soon if you missed the beginning and want to watch every moment or share it with your kids. Someone said they want their teens to see this. So it will be out very soon. Melissa and I will be back tomorrow. We have Egberto Willies joining us. That's going to be another amazing conversation. Lawrence will be back Thursday. For those of you who joined late and are wondering why Lawrence isn't here, he is all well on his secret work mission that he is on Thursday. Please join us. This has been such a huge, great chat. It's been amazing to be here. And Rachel, thank you for sharing your...
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And for starting 2026 off in such a brainy, meaningful way. So appreciate it. And Melissa, thank you for stepping up as co-host.
Yes, thank you. And it was so nice meeting you, Rachel. So nice.
It was great meeting with you. I look forward to chatting more.
Yes. All the hearts.
Bye, guys.
All right. We love you. Mean it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.